Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to share a beautiful story from a long, long time ago. It's a tale about a very kind king, a tiny little fish with a huge secret, and how one small act of kindness ended up saving the entire world.
Our whole adventure really begins with just these two simple words. They were spoken by a voice so small you could barely even hear it, but these words, as you're about to see, changed absolutely everything.
So, let's start at the very beginning of our story and meet our two main characters, a good-hearted king and the very, very small friend he was about to make.
Now, in a quiet forest, there lived a king named Satyavrata, but he wasn't like other kings you might imagine. He lived a simple, gentle life right next to a river. He really valued truth and spent his days in quiet prayer, just happy to be close to nature. He was known far and wide for being good and compassionate.
So one day, as the king was gathering water from the river, this tiny, wriggling fish swam right into his hands. The fish looked up at him and actually pleaded for help because it was terrified of the much bigger fish in the river. Well, King Satyavrata's kind heart was so moved, he just knew he had to do something to keep this little creature safe.
So the king took the fish home in a small pot of water. But then, something truly magical started to happen. By the very next morning, the fish was already too big for the pot, so the king moved it to a bigger bowl, and then a pond, and then a lake, but the fish just kept growing and growing, faster than anything the king had ever seen. Pretty soon, not even the whole river was big enough for his amazing new friend.
The king was just amazed. He carried the giant fish all the way to the vast ocean, and as he released it into the waves, the fish revealed its true self. You see, it wasn't a fish at all, but the great protector Vishnu in disguise. He had taken on the form of a fish called Matsya for a very, very important reason.
And this is where the story gets even bigger. Vishnu had come to warn the kind king about a huge danger that was headed for the entire world.
Vishnu explained that a massive flood was on its way, a storm so powerful it would swallow every mountain and cover every single piece of land. All of life was in danger of being washed away forever. But because King Satyavrata had shown such kindness, he was the one chosen for a very special mission.
Vishnu gave the king a clear plan. He needed to build a giant boat. Then he had to fill it with the seeds of every plant and pairs of every animal. He also had to save the world's most important stories and knowledge. And Vishnu promised that when the storm finally came, he would return to guide them all to safety. And, just as Vishnu had said, the storm came. The sky turned dark, the rain fell in endless sheets, and the oceans rose higher and higher. But you know what? King Satyavrata wasn't afraid. He had listened, he had prepared, and he was ready on his great boat with all of life safe inside.
With the whole world covered in water, our heroes were ready to begin the most incredible journey you can imagine, across a brand new ocean. As huge waves crashed around them, Vishnu returned as the giant fish Matsya, this time with a shining horn on his head. The king tied the boat to Matsya's horn, and the great fish began to pull them. Through all the wind and the rain, Matsya guided that boat, keeping it safe, until finally the storm passed. The boat landed gently on the very top of a mountain, the only land left in the world.
Matsya also showed just how heroic he was. You see, during the long journey, a demon tried to steal the world's sacred stories and hide them deep in the ocean. But Matsya fought the demon and saved all that precious knowledge, making sure that wisdom and truth would survive for the new world.
And so, because of one king's kindness and one great fish's guidance, everything important was saved. The people, all the animals, all the plants, and all the wonderful stories that help us understand our world. They were all safe. And that brings us to the most important part of our story. What can we learn from this amazing adventure? Well, it all comes down to one simple, powerful idea. Just think about it. The entire world was saved because, at the very beginning, a good king decided to protect one tiny, helpless fish. A small act of compassion led to the biggest rescue mission in history. It just goes to show you that you never know how much good a little bit of kindness can do. For his goodness, King Satyavrata was given a great honor. He became known as Manu, the first man of the new age. He was tasked with helping life begin all over again, becoming the ancestor of everyone to come.
And so, what we learn is that we should never judge anyone or anything by its size. That tiny fish carried the power to save the world. This beautiful story teaches us to treat every single creature with respect and kindness because every life is important.
And that leaves us with a wonderful question to think about. Just like the king, we all have the chance to be kind every single day. It might be helping a bug that's stuck or being gentle with a pet. So what small act of kindness can you do today? You never know. It might just change the world.